This is a box that I made for my late roommate, Soup. Soup was not a person. Soup was a cat. Soup was a cat who belonged to my friend Jen Louie. And I met Soup many times before I eventually became roommates with Jen Louie and also with Soup. Soup passed on earlier this year. She was a really awesome cat, very playful, very affectionate, very impish, and Jen Louie had her cremated and gave some of her ashes to Soup, some of Soup's favorite people. I'm very honored and happy and also sad that I was considered one of her favorite people. And when I got her ashes, I went on Etsy and I looked around and I was trying to find an appropriate container for her ashes. And I went on Etsy and there were lots of little boxes and there were lots of boxes for cremated pet ashes. But I only have some of her ashes, not all of them, so many of them were too big. Just as an example, this is the box for my cat Bashir. These are all of his ashes, so you can see how much bigger this box is. I have all of his ashes. He was a big tabby cat that I own who he passed on a couple of years ago. Had him cremated. This is a box that was provided by the crematorium, a professionally made box. Very fancy. This is my effort for my bit of Soup. What I did is when I was going to make a box for Soup, I went on YouTube and I searched for how to paint a wooden box. And one of the first videos I saw, which is a video I mostly used, was a video made by a young woman who goes by the username Trippy Draws. I highly recommend her channel. Basically, I learned what kind of paints to use, how to paint the box. You know, it's painted with acrylic. It's a wooden box I got at a craft store. As you can see, there's a mouse and a paw print. And the first thing I did is I bought a smaller box. I bought a different box, and I used it as a practice box. I wanted to practice a little bit before making Soup's box. So this is the practice box. And I put a couple little eyes on the cat, a couple paw prints. Basically, experimented with blending a little bit. You can see maybe a silhouette of a cat there. Didn't quite turn out the way I'd hoped it would, but I'm going to finish this one up and give it away as a present. But this was my practice box. I wanted to practice a little bit before and it made a big difference. For one thing, whoops, I just dropped the box. Don't worry, it's unharmed. I took these latches off, so I went out to try and paint around them, and when I reattached them, they didn't line up very well, so you can't press that back down. That's one of the things I learned not to do, was to try and remove these latches and then reattach them. So I left these on and just painted around them. I'm currently lacquering this. I'm going to finish lacquering. It's already got a couple coats. I'm going to put on a couple more. On the interior, I'm going to paint like a couple of cats and maybe a mouse or two, so Soup will have some company. I'm going to lacquer the inside so that her ashes just aren't up against this wood grain. And I'm almost done with this box. Going to finish this one up. And yeah, that's the box I made for Soup. She was a really cool cat. I was going to paint a couple of eyes on that silhouette, but I decided not to. It kind of looks like she's looking away or looking out the window, and she liked to come into my room and look out the window. She really liked hanging out in my room, which was a little frustrating because I own a lot of black clothes and I have black sheets and black blankets, and sometimes she would be in my room and I wouldn't know because you couldn't see her on my bed, or she was lying on a pile of clothes in my closet. And one time I knew she was in the room and I looked everywhere for her, and it turned out she was curled up inside of a black suitcase. and I just could not find her for the longest time, even though I knew she was in my room, and she was sleeping in the suitcase and didn't wake up when I yelled out, "Kitty, kitty, kitty, kitty," little stinker. Anyways, yeah, that's my funny Soup story. But she was a really cool cat. I had this girlfriend at the time who really wasn't very fond of cats because she was really allergic to them. And when she met Soup, she not only petted Soup and played with Soup, she let Soup sit in her lap, which personally I was just stunned. She usually avoided cats and didn't like interacting with cats. And when she let Soup sit in her lap, I mean, Soup was just the ultimate charmer. Everybody loved this cat. And I'm really honored and humbled that I get to take care of her in her afterlife. And like I said, I just couldn't find anything anywhere that really was really liked and really wanted to keep Soup in. So I just went ahead and made a box myself, and that's it. And I like it. I think it came out pretty good. And she's gonna hang out next to Bashir, who is also a really awesome, affectionate, and fun cat. I think they would have liked each other, but I get to take care of them both now.